I'm going to share with you in this video how to use AI to be awesome, to be an awesome dad, an awesome mom, an awesome grandparent, an awesome student, an awesome teacher, an awesome employee, whatever it is, fill in the blank. I'm going to show you how to use AI to be awesome. And I experienced this myself yesterday with my daughter. She's in college right now. She's studying to be a doctor. She's taking biology. She's a freshman. She's taking biology, anatomy, and physiology. The stuff is way over my head. And she called me on the phone and she said, "Dad, I have this PDF document. Everything's PDFs now at school. They don't have books anymore." She said, "I got this PDF document and I want to use AI to help quiz me on the material." And she's a go-getter, right? She's not looking to cheat. She actually wants to accelerate her learning with AI. So she said, "Dad, I'm using it with ChatGPT to quiz me on the material, but I'm running out of credit. So I can't get a lot done. What do I do?" And I said, "Give me 10 minutes and then check your messages." So I hung up the phone and then I vibe coded this for her. I fed all of this data in to the AI and I coded this website. And there's two areas in here, flashcards and multiple choice. So click on multiple choice or fill in the blank, and you have all the different chapters. You click on one and you'll type in, what the answer is, and it will log the correct or incorrect up here. You can show the answer. You can fill all this out. 231 questions it made out of that PDF document. And this is all data from the teacher, all based on stuff from her actual class, not just on the subject of biology, but on the actual material from her class, which is incredible. And then flashcards right here, there's 134 flashcards. You can select the chapter, you come down here and here's the question, you flip it over, here's the answer. Yeah, I know it, you can go on to the next one. I put all this on a domain with her name on it. And by the way, if you can, I highly recommend getting a domain name for your kids with their name if possible. MadisonZimmerman.com was taken, but Madison-Zimmerman.com wasn't. So I registered that, and I also got one for my son too. Highly recommend getting a domain name for your kids if you can. But I sent her the link to this website, and I get a phone call a few minutes later, and she's out of breath. She's like, Dad, whatever you sent me, that's amazing. How did you do that? What did you build that with? It's so cool. I'm going to use it all the time. I'm going to call you up and give you all of the PDFs that I get. Can you make more of these for me?" And I'm like, yes. First of all, when your kid goes to college, they don't call you a lot. But now she's going to call me a lot because I can make something really cool for her. And then second of all, man, I was like dad of the year in her eyes. She was so happy, so excited. I was happy because she was happy. Like, it was awesome, totally awesome. And that's why I'm sharing this with you, because I'm like, man, if I can share this with other people and make them feel awesome too in the eyes of their kids or their students or whatever it is, I definitely want to do that. But yeah, I spent less than 10 minutes, had the AI build this whole thing, and it just made my daughter's week. So let me show you how to do this because it's stupid simple, and you're going to feel like $1 million when you figure this out, because it's just so cool when you figure it out. And who knows, it might open up new doors, new interests that you can use the AI for when you unlock this power. So it's so easy. So we're going to use something called Codex to do this. Codex is made by OpenAI, the people that made ChatGPT. So first of all, if you have an OpenAI subscription to ChatGPT, you can use Codex for free. Also, right now, Codex is free, I believe, for free accounts too. Now, your limits are going to be lower with a free account than with a paid account, but I think you can still use this completely for free as long as you make an OpenAI account. But otherwise, I recommend subscribing to ChatGPT, and you can use Codex a lot more. So let's go to Google and type in OpenAI Codex download. All right, and you should see, look for a link that says like openai.com and then this caret symbol and then Codex. So we'll click it and then you'll download it. Now I'm on a Mac, but this also works on a PC too, but you'll download it and then you'll install it, and then it will ask you to link up your OpenAI account. And once you've done that, you're basically in the home stretch. So you can find Codex after you've installed it in your applications folder, or if you're on a PC, it's a little bit different. And this is what it looks like. Now, it looks a little bit overwhelming, but don't be overwhelmed. It's actually very easy to use. Now, before we build anything with Codex, we need to create a project folder to hold all of our different projects, because maybe you're not going to just code one thing. Maybe you're not going to just make one project. Maybe you're really going to get into this and make a lot of projects. So let's go to Finder if you're on a Mac, or Explorer if you're on a PC. And I want you to make a projects folder somewhere. So on Finder on a Mac, you click your little home, and then right down here, you'll click new folder and then type in projects. On a PC, same thing. You go to Explorer, maybe in your Documents folder or your Downloads folder, you make a folder called Projects. Okay, so once you've done that, then you'll go over to Codex again, and you'll click this Add New Project icon right here. Click that, and then you'll select your projects folder, and then you'll click New Folder, and we'll give this a name. Call it whatever you want. Now, I already have a folder called Madison for the Madison website I made. I'm going to call this Madison 2 because we're replicating this, but just for demonstration purposes. So I'll call it Madison 2. And then once you've made your folder, it should be selected and you'll click Open. And it will appear over here. All right, pretty simple. Now what we need to do is I need to put inside of this Madison folder some files. In my situation, my daughter has these PDFs from her teacher, right? Maybe you're doing the same thing for your kid, or maybe you're a student and you're doing the same thing. You'd want to get those PDF files. Or maybe you're a teacher and you have lesson material and you want to upload that. You can do that too. Or you could be a prospective employee and you have a resume and some headshots of yourself and you want the AI to use that stuff to build your website. You can do that too. So we're going to leave Codex for a second and go back to Finder. So in Finder, find the folder you created. Mine was Madison 2. Find the folder and then click on it and you'll be inside of it. Now, when we're inside of it, we're going to right click and make a new folder and we're going to call it Private. Now, the private folder is going to be like all of the files that we're going to be uploading, whether it's the lesson materials or your resume or your headshots, whatever files you want the AI to look at when it's coding. So we make the private folder, and then in that folder, put in all those files. So for my situation, I'm going to put my daughter's lecture materials inside of here. So this is that handout that I showed you at the beginning. And so we'll go back over here and let's tell the AI now what we want it to build. So we need to come up with a prompt. So here's the prompt I'm going to use. And your prompt's going to be a little bit different, but there are some takeaways that you want to use from this in your prompt. The first sentence is the most important. I want to create a website using pure JavaScript, CSS, and HTML. And the reason I say these things is these are 3 coding languages that work on every browser. I don't know how technical you are, but there's like all kinds of different programming languages. There's PHP, there's Golang, there's Rust, there's all these different languages that require more than just a simple browser to run, right? They require special server software. These things don't, and you can do a lot of awesome stuff with these 3 technologies. CSS makes the website look pretty. JavaScript is like the brains of the whole operation. And when you click on things, things happen. When you click on buttons, things happen. And then HTML is like the guts and the organization of it all. So as long as we stick to coding using these 3 technologies, we'll be in good shape. And I said, I want this website to be for my daughter to help her study while she's in college. I have added a private directory that contains material for different classes she is studying. Please create a homepage with a section on it for her classes. Her first class is BIOL 3200. So I've told it now to make flashcards to help her study and then also fill in the blank questions. And then for the sake of this example, I'm only going to do 25 flashcards for the first chapter and the same thing for the fill in the blank. And then finally, organize the folders of the project so they make sense. The theme for the website should be girly, so pink vibes and cute. Pretty simple. So I'm going to take this and I'm going to paste it right into this little chat window here. And I'm in this project folder right now, this particular thread for this project we're working on. I'll send it to the AI. Now you can select the model that you want it to work with and then the reasoning effort and stuff. I'm just going with the default right now. That's all we really need to use. Now, right now, this is just going to run and it might ask me a question or two, which I'll answer. It might ask you a question or two, which you could answer, but I'm going to let this run, speed up the video until we get to a stopping point in this, whether it's like it's asking me to do something really big right now, or like a big decision, or whether it just completely finishes the entire job. Okay, so it's all done, and that took 24 minutes. It took a long time, but it gives you a summary of kind of what it built. And if you check the folder now, you should see it. It might be different on your end having the AI built it, but let's see what it did. So it actually went to my private folder and it made a new folder called BIOL 3200 and then put this inside of there for some organization. And then it looks like in the public folder, it built out 2 more folders, one called Assets with a bunch of stuff in it, our CSS and our JavaScript, and then our BIOL 3200 with our fill-in and flashcards. It's cool. And then if we click on the index file, you should have an index file. If you click on that, it should open up your website. Now, this is going to be opening it up locally on your computer. I'll show you how to put it onto a website in a second. But yeah, So this says your cozy student corner, and look how different it is from this. All right, completely different. You'll get different stuff each time, all right, based on what the AI comes up with and then what guidance you give it. So we have our class down here, and then that's what the class is, and then flashcards fill in the blank. Let's see the flashcards. So what is anatomy? And you can tap it to flip it. The study of the structure of body parts and their relationships. You can say, I got it right, and then it correct or missed, and then we can say need review. And so it keeps track of what we need. And reset the score, shuffle the cards. It's cool. Back to home, and then fill in the blank. The study of the structure of body parts is called anatomy. I don't know how to spell it though. How do you spell anatomy? Check. Correct. Yes. Next. See, I don't know what that is. So check. Type an answer. It's physiology. So it tells you what's right and what's wrong. Now, if you don't like something in here, you're like, oh, you know what? I wish there wasn't all this white space down here. I wish there was more stuff, or I wish I displayed all the questions at one time instead of just one at a time. You would just go back to Codex and you would tell it. You say, or you can actually take a screenshot too. You could take a screenshot of this and say, hey, you know what? I don't like all that white space underneath the fill in the blank. Could you fix that for me? Or could you re-envision this or something like that? Now, depending on the request that you give the AI, it might not take a long time, or it might take 20 more minutes to do a lot more thinking and searching. But yeah, that's all there is to it. Now, the problem we have is this is not on a website right now. This is just on our computer. And so if we're the only people that are going to use it, if I'm the only person that's going to use this and I'm always going to only use it on my computer, then this is fine. All right. I can just go to this projects folder and then click on this HTML and then open it up on my local computer. That's perfectly fine. But let's say we want to put this onto a website. We want to have a URL that someone can access this at, whether it's ourselves or a student or our students if we're a teacher. Let me show you how to do that. So you need to go to Cloudflare right now. I'm going to create a Cloudflare account. If you've never used Cloudflare before, it's something nerdy for nerds to use with domains, with domain names. It's completely free, all right, to use. I use it for what I do, and I use the heck out of it. And I don't pay any money. It's completely for free. There's other things that you can pay for, but that's like for enterprise customers. That's not us. So I'm going to show you how to use Cloudflare to make a free website. Put what we just made on Cloudflare and have them host it on their servers across the world. So go to cloudflare.com and make a free account. And then once you've made the account, you're going to open up and see like this tab on the side. Sometimes these menus change. If you're watching this video a year from now, the menus might have changed. You might have to hunt around for what we're looking for. But right now, we're going to click on Compute and AI on this side tab, and then click on Workers and Pages. And you'll see a screen like this. And what we want to do is click on this Create Application button. And it's going to say, how do you want to get us the files for your application? And what we're going to do is we're just going to upload our static files. Now, if you want to get a little bit more fancy, you can actually connect GitHub, which is another free resource, to this. And we'll talk about that in a second, but we're just going to upload our static file. So I'll click this box right here. And it says drag or drop to upload your files. Now, we can't like upload multiple things at a time. It only wants one file or one folder or one zip file. So we're going to make a zip file to not have a problem. Because if you try to do this, let's take all our stuff in public and drag it over here. It says, oops, you got a problem. You can only have a single folder or a single zip file. Now, your folder structure might be a little bit different. Find where your index file is. Your index needs to be like at the base level. So for us, our index is in the public directory. You might not have a public directory. Your index just might be out here and not inside of a directory. For me, because I have my index in this public folder, I'm going to select all the files in this public folder. You just select them all and then right click and compress. So I didn't select the public folder. I just selected the stuff inside of it because that's where my index HTML file is. Now, if your index HTML file was like out here, then you'll select everything aside from your private folder. So pretend it was like this. Let me move it back to show you. Pretend everything looked like this with our index right here, right inside our project folder. We would select everything, but not the private folder. And then we'd right click and click compress. Make sense? So let me undo that. So I've gone to my index, I've selected everything. I've right clicked and clicked compress, and I have the zip file now. So I'll take the zip file and I'll drag it over. And you can see the file that expands what's inside of the zip file. Now, before we click the deploy button and we click deploy, you're going to have a website. All right, that's all there is to it. But before we do that, I want you to realize something. This is going to be the URL to get to your website. And Cloudflare allows you to change one portion of it, the first portion of it. Can't call this Madison because you can see it's already taken. That's why this becomes grayed out. But I could probably call this Madison 2. So this would be the URL, Madison 2 period, and then there's all this nonsense over here. So we'll click deploy, and you'll see all the files being uploaded right now. And we're in our Madison 2 deployment right now. You'll see this little globe icon, and this will be the URL. And so if we click that, it takes us to our website. How cool is that? So we're at our website now. Now, with this URL, anybody in the world can access your site. You can access it. You can send it to a student, your student, if you have a child in school and they need help with this, or if you're a teacher and you want to send it out to all your students in your class, you can do that too. Or if you're applying for a job and you've created this resume, at this link, you can link this URL to. So this URL is now to your site. No one else has this URL but you. Now, the question becomes, how do we change the stuff? How do we add more lessons, or how do we tweak things and then have all of that get updated on this site? Very easy. Let me show you how to do it. So let's make a very simple change that won't take long. The home page says study garden. I want it to say Madison's study garden. Please make the changes. And it should just take just a second to do that. It shouldn't take long. So it's already done. So let's open up the file locally on our computer right now, not on the URL, because on the URL it didn't change. At the URL it didn't change, but on my local computer it changed. So this is the file on my local computer, and this is the URL. So how do we get this updated file now, this updated file to the URL? Let me show you how to do it. So same process. We go back into the folder now, and we select everything with the index.html file, and we right click and we select compress. Same step we did before. Now we go back to Cloudflare. All right, now you might have closed Cloudflare. You might be somewhere else. You'll log in again, and you'll click on Compute and AI on the sidebar, and then Workers and Pages. And you should see the worker, the page, the deployment that you made. And for us, it's right here. So I'll click on that, and you'll see a button over here called New Deployment. We'll click on that, and same process. We just drag the zip file right over here and deploy. And it's going to upload all the files again and replace everything that we previously had. Now it's done. So let's go back to our website now and click refresh. There you go. So anytime you want to make a change, you just go into Codex and you tell it what you want. Right? Now make sure you have your thread over here linked to the project folder that you're dealing with, so that the OpenAI's Codex knows what project we're talking about. And you just tell it what you want, and it makes the changes for you. All right, now the next question you have is, how do I make this have a pretty URL? This URL is kind of janky. How do I have let's see, Madison Zimmerman. How do I have the URL like this? Very simple, very simple. I recommend, if you wanted to, and this is optional. This is optional if you want to get a domain name. Go to Namecheap, namecheap.com. This is where I register all my domain names. You'll see this window up here, and then search, type in a domain name, type in a name, maybe your kid's name, your name, whatever. Type in something, and then click search. And you'll see if that domain name is available. Now, there's lots of different extensions available for domain names, .com, .net, .org, .ai. Just get a .com. The reason I say that is a lot of the other extensions cost a lot more money. Like a .ai costs, I forget what it is, like $79 a year. A .com is usually the cheapest. And so for $18 a year or something, I forget what the price is, you can have your .com, and it's a good deal. So you find a domain name you want to register, you register it, and then I have this for my son, luke-zimmerman.com, and you'll get into your back end of your account, and you'll click on Manage next to the domain name, and it will bring you to this window here, Manage. And it looks complex, lots of stuff to click. Don't worry about it. All we got to do is change the name server. Point this domain to Cloudflare. That's all we got to do. So come over here and select this dropdown and click Custom DNS. So we need to get 2 name servers. The way we do that is we register this domain with Cloudflare. So we take the domain name, copy it, go to Cloudflare. Let me find where it is. And on our main screen, click this little cloud over here, and you'll get to a screen where you have all your different domains. You'll click onboard a domain. We'll paste in the domain name and click on manually enter DNS records. And you can leave the block AI training bots on. We don't want to have AI train on our stuff. And then it will say, what plan do you want to use? Just select the free plan. We don't need to pay any money for this. You'll get to this screen right here, and we're not going to enter any records. So we'll just click continue to activation. Click confirm. And then you're going to get those 2 DNS records that we need. So we'll copy the first one and we'll go to Namecheap. Let's see. And we'll paste it in right there. All right. And we'll get the second one from Cloudflare. It's right here. And we'll paste it right here. And when you're done, you'll click the check mark. That's all you got to do. And we're done with this. Now it says DNS servers can take up to 48 hours to take effect. Usually takes a minute or two, not a big deal. Let's go back to our build over here. And now we have to link that domain, we're on Cloudflare, link that domain to this project. So again, we're in our workers and pages, we're in this Madison 2 project right here. And I want to click domains and routes. So again, to get here, compute and AI, workers and pages, select your worker, select your deployment, and then domains and routes. And then we want to click this add. For domains and routes, click add, connect your domain, and type your domain name in, add your domain, and then we'll go back to workers and pages, and there it is. Okay, so we're going to click this, and now you might get an error. You might get like an SSL error or something. Just refresh it. Just wait 60 seconds and refresh it. But there you go. Now you have a custom domain name for whatever website you created. How awesome is that? Now, if you want to get really fancy, and we're not going to go into the details for this, you can also connect. Remember when we did our application, there was this option right here for Connect GitHub. So GitHub is another free service that allows you to create repositories for your projects, like containers in the cloud to store all of your project code. And so your code doesn't just sit on your computer, it also sits securely in the cloud. And the cool thing about that is your computer crashes, you still have all your code in the cloud. You'll connect GitHub to Codex, you'll make changes to your code, and then have Codex push those changes to the cloud, right, in GitHub. And the cool thing is, when we connect GitHub here to our project, anytime we make changes to our project in Codex and it uploads it to GitHub, it will automatically make those changes on Cloudflare, on our page, on our website. All right, so everything stays updated. That is extremely, extremely powerful. And it makes things so much easier than having to go in here and make all the changes. Now let me compress everything and then drag the zip over. A lot easier. That's beyond the scope of this video, but I hope this showed you how easy it is to become awesome and do awesome things with AI. You don't have to build super big projects and vibe code these giant applications that you're going to go and make $1 million and retire with. You can make small things and be awesome in your kids' eyes or your students' eyes or your employer or your boss's eyes or something like that. Very easy to do. If you have any questions or you like this video or any thoughts, please drop a comment down below. I'd love to hear what you think. Like, subscribe, all that great stuff. I do have a lot of links down below, especially a link to my completely free prompting course. If you want to get better at talking to the AI, it's a completely free prompting course down below. I also have a link to my AI newsletter. It's not written by AI, it's written by me. Keeps you up to speed with what you need to know going on with AI. I walk you through different things that I'm doing with AI and how you can apply them in your job or your lives so you don't get behind and you stay ahead of everybody else. Hey, that's all I got. I wish you the best. I hope this works for you, and I will talk to you soon.